You see them literally every day, everywhere you go. But have you ever really stopped to think about them? I'm talking about the QR code. That little black and white square has become this like quiet, essential part of our digital lives. But where in the world did it come from? And how did a tool that was designed for car factories end up on our coffee cups and concert tickets? Well, today we're going to decode the surprising story of this quiet digital revolution. Okay, so to get the QR code, you first have to remember its older cousin, the classic barcode, right? That's a one-dimensional code. The scanner reads it in a single straight line, and it holds just a tiny bit of info. But the QR code, whoa, that was a huge leap. It's two-dimensional, meaning it's read both horizontally and vertically. This lets it hold way, way more information. So it's not just a price tag, it's a locator, an identifier, a direct link to a website, you name it. And yeah, that extra power is exactly why we now see them absolutely everywhere. They're this invisible bridge connecting our physical world to the digital one in ways we barely even notice anymore. For so many of us, the real turning point was 2020. I mean, when physical contact suddenly became a risk, the QR code was right there, this perfect touchless solution. All of a sudden, a quick scan replaced shared menus and paper forms. It just became essential to our new reality. The shift was so fast that nearly 1 in 5 people in the US and UK noticed this massive spike in seeing and using them. And this became the new normal, didn't it? Just hovering your phone over a little sticker on the corner of a table to pull up a menu. It's such a simple change, but it became second nature almost overnight and totally changed the dining experience. But here's the wild part. To find the true origin of this tech, we have to go back way before the pandemic, to a place you would never expect, a car factory. Believe it or not, the QR code was invented way back in 1994 by an engineer named Masahiro Hara. He worked at Denso Wave, a Japanese auto parts supplier. It was never meant for menus. It was designed to solve a huge manufacturing problem. By the year 2000, it became an official international standard, which opened the door for it to be used all over the world. So what was this big problem they were trying to solve? Well, think about it. Car factories use an insane number of different parts, and every single one needs to be tracked. The old-school barcodes just couldn't hold enough information, especially since Denso needed to store complex Japanese characters, kanji and kana, along with irregular letters and numbers, all on one tiny label. And the inspiration for the solution? It came from the ancient strategy game of Go. Seriously, Hara's team looked at the simple, high-contrast pattern of the black and white stones on the board and realized they could use that same idea to represent complex data really efficiently. That's what led directly to the iconic design we all know today. So we know where it came from, but how does this little square, inspired by a board game, actually work? All right, let's decode it. It might just look like a random jumble of pixels, but your phone's camera is actually doing this really sophisticated dance. First, it locks onto those 3 big squares in the corners. That's how it orients itself. Then it uses smaller markers to adjust for any weird angles or distortion. A special timing pattern tells it how big the grid is, and only then does the camera actually read the data, converting that black and white pattern into ones and zeros. And right here, you can see all those different parts working together. Those position markers are like anchors. The alignment markers deal with real-world messiness, like if the code's on a crumpled piece of paper. And all those tiny dots packed in the middle, that's the good stuff. That's where all the data actually lives. Every single part of this design has a specific job. You've got the markers that basically shout, "Hey, I'm a QR code," and help the scanner read it from any angle. Then you've got patterns that define the whole data structure. It's just an incredibly smart and efficient system for sharing information. But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to talk about, and honestly, it's the QR code's secret superpower, its incredible resilience. It's a feature called error correction, and you can think of it like a built-in backup system. The code actually contains redundant information, so even if a chunk of it gets damaged or dirty or is just completely missing, a scanner can often piece together the original message perfectly. It can basically heal itself. And this is not just a theory. Check this out. On the left, you've got a code with a torn corner. Still scans fine. On the right, a motorcycle logo is covering a huge piece of the code, and it also works. The scanner just treats the image as damage and uses that built-in redundancy to reconstruct the data. I mean, how cool is that? And get this, you can even choose how tough you want your code to be. There are 4 different levels of this error correction. Level L, or low, can restore about 7% of lost data. But if you crank it up to level H, for high, it can recover from up to 30% of the code being completely unreadable. That is an incredibly robust system. So when you combine this high data capacity with that super strong error correction, you get an explosion of creative uses that have taken the QR code so far beyond the factory floor. They're perfect for something like mass transit. You see it here on this Chinese train ticket from over 10 years ago. In a situation like that, speed and reliability are absolutely essential for moving thousands of people. They also just make our lives more convenient, right? Instead of slowly spelling out a long, complicated Wi-Fi password for a guest, you can just have them scan one of these and boom, they're connected automatically. It's just simple and brilliant. And then you find uses that are truly profound. This QR code, placed on a soldier's gravestone, links directly to his Wikipedia page. It connects a physical memorial to a rich digital history of a person's life, making sure that any visitor can learn the story of who that person was. The scale of all this is just staggering. In 2022 alone, 89 million people, just in the United States, scanned a QR code with their phones. And that number was up 26% from just 2 years earlier, which just shows you how fast this is still growing. So, from its humble start tracking car parts, to its elegant inspiration from a board game, and now its role connecting everything from our payments to our past. This simple little black and white square has fundamentally changed how our physical and digital worlds interact. The only question left is, what will it connect next?